everybody. Back to Western New York High School Hockey Weekly. Frank Wolf. I'm joined tonight again by Joe Kraus and Rich Crozier, former coach of St. Joe's. We had our first show last week. Thank you very much for tuning in. We were at the Northtown Center, the Sky Bar. I never went back for wings. I don't know. Did you guys ever get back for wings after your second game?
I think they were closed by the time we finished, but it's on the list. We'll be there at some point.
I'd love to try their wings. I got to be honest. I don't know that I've ever had food there.
You built the place.
I may have had an ice water or two, but I don't think I've ever had food in that area.
What about a Gatorade bath after a big win? You ever have one of those there?
I've never had that either.
That's ridiculous.
No one's ever throwing anything on.
You've won championships. They've never dumped the Gatorade on you.
No.
All right, that's a challenge for the St. Joe's alumni out there. If you see this man in town, dump a glass of water or Gatorade over him.
Well, I'm still coaching people.
Better late than never.
So maybe we should just send
flag
this out
football
to
girls.
the Amherst girls flag football team.
Amherst
Challenge.
flag football. Big
win.
They got to win.
Let's throw it on Coach Kenzie and Coach Crozier. I mean,
there enough water.
Right. Couple big egos and big heads there. You're right. You're right.
You guys got some work to do in that department, but there's always room for improvement.
Yes. So okay, ladies, if you're listening, I'm sure that a lot of ladies tune into this show. I have to tell you, right? This is the show to be watching at 7:00 on a Tuesday night.
Yeah. There's no Grey's Anatomy, right?
No.
There's no Voice. Is there a Voice tonight?
I'm gonna date myself. There's no must-see TV. Tonight, this is the show to be watching. This will go viral.
We're gonna talk girls hockey. Of course, we gotta thank our sponsors. There's Chili Billy's is up and running with this WNY Athletics. We want to thank Bill Pavone and Chili Billy's for stepping up to the plate in a big way. Thank you very much. Of course, Immediate Care, Damon University, Logistics Plus of Buffalo, G&G Fitness, Binghamton University, Joe Kraus, and Daniel Cha-Cha, personal injury attorney. Thank you very much. And, of course, the Quantum folks, guys doing all the training, wellness out there, out in Cheektowaga.
With Chili Billy's ice cream truck?
Yeah, novelty. He'll come right to your house or business.
My school.
He'll come to your school. He's been here.
Okay,
well he hasn't actually been here, but we've sent him.
Novelty ice cream?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Taco Tacos
I think
was a big hit.
We would enjoy that over at Smo. I'm going to talk to him.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
He may have been there. He may have been there, or he's been in the Amherst and Williamsville schools and things like that. He does a lot of businesses. Business is going to pick up right now.
Thank you for your sponsorship.
It's because of Bill we were able to do shows like this, and why not start off with Bill's first love, or maybe his second love, probably his third though. Girls hockey. Bill's daughter was a hockey player back in high school and didn't get to play for a high school team, so Bill and several others got together and put the girls' fed together. They're in their 15th year. So hopefully they'll have a big party at some point to celebrate that milestone. But there's a lot going on in girls hockey. Their playoffs they come up quick. They come up quicker than the boys.
Right.
Big game tonight. Should have been a big game. Turned out to be a whitewash for Niagara County. 11-2 winners over Williamsville. And that's a bit of a surprise the way that they did Williamsville tonight. That's a lopsided loss for them, so they're going to have to regroup quickly because they got another big game against Leda on Thursday night, Lancaster, Iroquois, Depew, and Alden. So that's a contingent of the Williamsville schools. You had some interesting milestone reach there by Rick Hopkins?
Yeah, Rick Hopkins. He's been there since they began, year 15. Tonight was his 275th career game with Williamsville. Obviously on the losing side, but what a remarkable run. Rick Hopkins, one of the founders. I believe Dr. Rosen was a part of it as well. And unbelievable 15 years. And, again, a big milestone for Coach Rick in Williamsville. I believe the postseason starts on February 11th that week. So, as you said, it's coming up close. But
it is
big milestone for Rick.
Yeah, he's going to want to forget number 275. Let's help him try and remember maybe 276.
Yes.
And that's Thursday night. St. Mary's of Lancaster still on top there in the standings. Overall standings with Ken West, Ken East, Grand Island, Lockport right behind them, followed by Hughes. That's Hamburg, Eden, West Seneca. And then in fourth place would be your flop team, Frontier, Franklinville, Lakeshore, Orchard Park. A lot of teams are combined, not a lot of one-offs. I think St. Mary's of Lancaster is the only one-off school. Everything else is a combined contingent. Like even Monsignor Martin, you've got your Sacred Heart, your Mount St. Mary's. So they're all combining.
That program, St. Mary's, newer.
Yes.
The ladies broke away from Monsignor Martin.
They had the numbers.
Yeah. I've been impressed with them.
It's a big win. Williamsville has had some down, maybe the last couple of years. They're down in terms of their wins losses because this was a team that was always in the hunt towards the end of the year. They were always playing for sectional titles like Kenji, but they've fallen a little bit in years past. A lot of their better players have gone to play private, Nichols or another school. So Rick Hopkins is, it's when schools are coming to your program to pull kids away, you're doing something right. Obviously, there's some talent there. But some of those kids from Williamsville that live in the district are actually playing elsewhere. So that's had an effect. I know they just lost last week 5-4 to St. Mary's, a 1-goal loss there to the top team. So maybe Williamsville just didn't have their best game tonight. Maybe they were up watching the Bills game too little too late.
Well, Coach Hopkins, veteran, talked to him many times. Avid bike rider.
He bikes everywhere.
Yeah, I see him. I see him on his bike. But, great coach. Joe, you and I'm going to remind you of something. We've called so many games this year. I don't remember the date, but we saw a little bit of the Cash versus Williamsville game.
That's right.
I know you're my memory guy. Do you remember the date of that?
I want to say it was sometime last month.
Yeah.
I think we saw like the third period. I know we ran into Randy Schultz.
Okay.
Shout out to Randy. We saw him near the end. It was a close game. Williamsville and Cash going back and forth. I remember it being a close contest, but we did see a little bit of it too.
Cash won that game. I was impressed by their goaltender. Shout out to Grace Elliott, former Smallwood alumni, and her dad, Sean Elliott, longtime assistant coach at St. Joe's. Just left me right before my retirement, the year before, to focus on his daughter's team and to support her. One of the other things that is really interesting about the ladies, and I give them a lot of credit. Frank, you mentioned how their playoffs sneak up. They're going both the whole time. They're playing for their club travel teams, and they're playing high school, where, as you know, for most of the boys, 95% of them, they are doing a split season, and their travel team takes a break. So a lot of these ladies are on the ice 3-4 times a week, 5 times a week. Like that's a dedication, a commitment to the game.
And what's crazy is, Rich, what I found out last year, I knew some of them would go to play for a team over the border.
Yes.
We've got girls that go all the way out to Syracuse to play for their travel team. And there's girls from Syracuse that come this way to play on a travel team here. It's crazy. These girls drive hours to play. So it is a major commitment. It is a major commitment.
Well, I'm going to remind you of something, too, talking about commitment and playing both. We're going to get to this in the next segment, but we did the boys' side last week. On the boys' side, we did Hamburg and Will East. Mm-hmm. Coach McFall's talking to us about his number one goalie, who's a lady, who he's sharing with a U22 women's team. Where was she out of? Stony Brook?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep.
Good memory, Coach.
Great memory.
Stony, I've never heard of it. Think about that. You're competing or working out conflicts with a U22 team from Stony Brook, Ontario. You want to talk about how the ladies' games developed?
Yeah. I think that's just shy of Hamilton.
Yes.
Stony Brook. So that's not that's a distance.
I don't want to put words in Coach McFall's mouth, but we were talking just before he jumped on with you, Frank, and he said it was a disadvantage for him not to have her services that evening. It actually wasn't even because of a conflict. I think she was dealing with some sort of pulled muscle, lower body injury, as we might say in the pro hockey world.
Yeah, Mikhail Musty she's had a couple of good starts. I believe Jerry Sullivan just wrote a story today on the website about Michaela and her growth. And he said that too. And we'll get to the rest of Hamburg, but the growth, 15 years of girls hockey, especially, and even players like Michaela playing on the boys' side, is what a run, what a growth so far for girls hockey.
First time I saw Michaela was in Summer League. Harbor Center runs that Summer League. It's exceptional. They do a really great job. And OP was short a goalie, and somehow they, over there at OP, they love their deals. Somehow they worked it out with Hamburg that they were going to get Michaela. Next thing, Michaela's starting all these games for them. I'm like, who's this lady in net that we can't put the puck by? St. Joe's versus OP, and they're using a Hamburg goalie to beat us. Yeah, leave it to Steve Ferrantino. That's a different story.
Girls leading the stats for the Western New York Girls Federation, Maya Griffin out of Flop, Abby Zimmerman from Niagara County, another Flop girl, Gabby Sojda, and then Sam Latini, also Niagara County. So you got 4 girls, 2 teams, top 4 in scoring, all with 20 or more points. And we're going to see this Thursday, Tim, our game of the week for ladies. We're doing Williamsville and Lita. So Randy Schultz, as a matter of fact, is coming out. He's coming back. He's been on the shelf recuperating from open heart surgery. So he will be back this Thursday. We're going to do that game together and ease Randy back into things before we roll the red carpet out for Stu, because you're doing something else.
Yeah,
you're unavailable.
Can I plug it real quick?
Oh, yeah.
Carter O'Hara, St. Mary's girls basketball, 6:30. Tom Prince signed the call. Probably one of the biggest girls basketball games of the year. But I know you guys have a big doubleheader on Thursday at Northtown too.
Yes.
Wait, that's what you left me for? I didn't even know what the conflict was.
Hey, I
Listen,
left you in good hands. Stu,
boy, I had nothing against Stu. I like Stu. But, man, I thought we had some chemistry going. Girls, basketball with the Prince. Now it all comes out.
Oh, yeah.
Live. Good thing this show is live.
Well, what time does your game finish up?
8 o'clock.
Okay, well, I mean, he's just getting into his
Right.
second set. So there's a possibility we can get you on for maybe during intermission. You can tell us all about that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to know.
Don't leave us hanging.
Right. In between periods, special guest. The voice of St. Mary's basketball, Joe Kraus.
About 20 minutes ago, I had an idea to send Luke Prince, Tom's son, over to Leisure Rink, because that's where Orchard Park and Lancaster are going at it tonight. Maybe we can get up-to-date scores or updates from Luke. But I haven't pulled the trigger on sending him a text yet. Being 7:13, the game's already into the second period. I don't know if he's going to go for that or not.
We had that game, 12-7. So that was the first one.
Earlier in the year.
Yeah, December 7th. OP, real strong.
Well, they're the only undefeated team left, right? In boys hockey, they're the only undefeated team. All right. Girls hockey, again, we're going to do that game on Thursday, Williamsville and Lita. Monday is – I don't think they have any – do they have any games on Monday with the MLK Day? No, I know you're over at Riverworks for a couple of games, but I don't think the girls have anything much going on Monday. So if you want, you could check the Western New York Girls Hockey.com website. It has all their stats, schedules, so on and so forth. Anything girls hockey related, you can check that site out. And again, thanks to Bill Pavone, Jelly Billies, for sponsoring that segment for hockey. We're going to get into a little bit more. Why don't we go into our second segment? We'll come back with some more talk on high school hockey. You're watching Western New York High School Hockey Weekly here on Western New York Athletics. We'll be back after a word from our sponsors.
Need an electrician? Empire Electric is your residential wiring specialist. New builds, service upgrades, lighting, generators, you name it, Empire does it with hundreds of 5-star reviews that speak for themselves. Call Empire Electric today for your free estimate.
Education has power. Binghamton University students discover it, apply it, unleash it. Unleash your education today.
Just results.
Your life can change in an instant after an injury. You need a trusted partner at your side. Hi, I'm Dan Chacha. At Dan Chacha Injury Attorneys, we're here to help you navigate the challenges you'll face. Our dedicated team fights tirelessly for your rights, ensuring you get the compensation you deserve. Don't worry, Chacha's got you. Call Dan Chacha Injury Attorneys today for a free consultation. Your injury is our priority.
Call 648-3030. Just results.
Western New York Immediate Care. Since 2005, our hometown urgent care walk-in clinics have been committed to providing the highest quality urgent care for the Western New York community, with 4 convenient locations in Amherst, Buffalo, Depew, and Orchard Park. We are open every day, including holidays. Walk-ins welcome or reserve a time. We have on-site labs and x-rays, and you'll always see an in-person provider. Visit WNYimmediatecare.com.
Welcome back to Western New York High School Hockey Weekly. I was in a nice pullover sweatshirt when I was going to do this show. I thought it was kind of like a dress down type scenario. But you guys came in with the jackets and ties, hair done. So I had to go back into the closet and pull out this sport coat that I haven't worn in 7 years, this shirt that doesn't match the sport coat. And if you look through here, my cleaner, the colors ran through, right? So
you're looking spiffy, Frank. You're looking
thank
good.
you, Joe. Thank you. I appreciate that.
We look
pressure,
like,
though.
We look
Pressure
like,
to look better.
We look like the men's in Blazers. I know it's a soccer reference, but that's kind of the vibe we got right now.
I walked in a tuxedo, and then I saw you in your hoodie, so I just went to my sports jacket. But, I mean, what I'm really, now listen, we're going to ease into this. I'm new to the company, but I am looking for matching blazers with a nice Western New York crest. Right, like the old.
Hockey Night in Canada.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
Let's go.
That would be nice. Roger,
Yes.
who would wear those? Cherry. Well, Cherry had his own.
Cherry
had his own.
That's a style we can't.
Who makes collars like that? I have never seen another collar like that. That was beautiful.
I remember like Tip Top Tailors.
Yes,
they had serious Canadian.
One thing I think we need to get though are poppies. I think we got to wear poppies for our show. I think that would be a nice touch.
Very nice touch.
Yeah. Cherry always had the poppies.
Yeah.
It's the least we can do is wear our
get
poppies.
upset with people that wouldn't wear them.
Yes, yeah. So let's do some research. Go on Amazon and see if we can order some poppies. Are those real?
Oh, I got some. Listen, I just sold my parents' house. I probably have poppies, boxes of poppies.
Let's look for some poppies. That's
okay.
Your assignment. Last Thursday, you guys had the assignment. It was Hamburg and Will East. Joe, you were excited to call that game. What did you think?
Yeah, it was a really big game. Williamsville East with a 5-3 victory against Hamburg. Williamsville East with 4 of their goals in the last period of play, including 2 in the last minute of the second period to go up 4-1. Williamsville East with a total of 30 shots in the contest. They got the 5 goals. Jacob Sexton had another big game with 17 saves on 20 shots for Williamsville East in net, but the scoring was there. And Rich, we talked about it on the broadcast too. It was just after one opportunity, getting the 1 goal late in that first period with 30 seconds left. Nathan Sucher with that first goal. It just kept piling on. Hamburg had a really strong second period. And then Williamsville East, as we just mentioned, Gavin Ryan and Sam Moore, those back-to-back goals in the second period really was kind of the final nail in the coffin. Credit to Hamburg for still fighting well in that second period. But Williamsville East it just seemed after they got that one opportunity late in the period, that was where their money was the rest of the game.
Cardinal sin. Coach killer, we call him. I mean, one of the things I always preach to my teams, it's so critically important. You got, so it's high school hockey, 17-minute periods, folks, at home. You have to play to the final whistle. And, first of all, we talked about on the broadcast, 2 veteran coaches. I got a lot of respect for both of those gentlemen. John McFall with Hamburg. Mike Torilli's been there since day one. Okay, these are household names in the high school hockey community. They know this stuff. My heart kind of goes out to Coach McFall. First of all, great job by both of them coming up, meeting with us before. Right, love that, respect. Certainly their thoughts are on the game. but they gave us some time before in our first show of the season. But I'll start with Coach McFall. I feel bad. His team, I thought, played great. All 3 periods, 16 minutes. All 3 periods. The game's 0-0, okay? Could go anywhere, right? 30 seconds left in the first. Boom. East scores. Now they're down 1-0. Okay, go to the intermission. Great second period. Physical. Both teams playing hard. As you just mentioned, Joe, East scores 2 goals with less than a minute in the second. And then put the game away, late in the third. That's something that, Coach McFall, I'm sure, addressed in practice this week. It's something that they need to tighten up on.
And there was that timeout that maybe wasn't Coach McFall. He said, I didn't call it, but the officials called it. That kind of slowed down the momentum late in that game as well.
So this is what I'm loving about broadcasting, Frank and Joe. That's so fun. It's my ability to kind of see these side little stories, right? Every game's a story on its own, but there's a lot of side stories that I've been really enjoying kind of like discovering. This was a real interesting situation. We could spend a ton of time on it. Apparently, from what I picked up on, Coach McFall's assistant says to him, hey, should we call a timeout? If you recall on the broadcast, I was very surprised that Coach McFall used his timeout because normally you would not use your timeout with an in-zone face-off defensively. The face-off was in the defensive zone for Hamburg. There's about 1:30 left. So the assistant coach says to Coach McFall, should we use our timeout? John, veteran guy like Mike Torillo, similar to myself, been around the league for a long time. He's going to turn to his young assistants and say, no, let's try and get an in-zone face-off so we can run our face-off play with the extra man. The referee apparently had rabbit ears, which we never love as coaches in any sport. He hears the conversation, hears timeout, calls it. John McFall was hot, gentlemen. And I'm going to credit the referee. He gave him a little grace. You don't see a fired-up Coach McFall too often. Oh. By the way, excellent teacher. I believe he fourth grade teacher. Does great stuff with the boys and girls in the Hamburg district. But he was hot. And, yeah, totally agree with you, Joe. That was an interesting side story. And he was looking for an explanation after the game. I want to mention one.
Did he get one?
He did.
Okay.
He credit the refs. We all know each other. It's a community that right now I'm kind of grieving a little bit. I miss it. We'll see him. What are you doing up there? Well, I'm broadcasting now, but I want to say something about Coach Torillo's East team that I was incredibly impressed with, and that was their ability to get pucks to nets.
Yep.
Okay? That is definitely a page out of a St. Joe's Coach Crozier book. Interesting, though, he made an adjustment. And again, Mike, I hope you're listening because I'm impressed with you. The adjustment had the same thing a few days before when they're in Skinny Atlas. However, what he wasn't getting was the man in front of the net looking for the rebound, going to the dirty area, willing to pay the price, rebound in the back of the net. Their goals, if you notice, they were taking shots from everywhere, but they did a very good job. I didn't see that Skinny Atlas game, but I'm going to guarantee you they weren't getting guys in front, battling for those loose pucks, getting those dirty goals. We saw that on Wednesday night, and credit to East. So that was the difference in that hockey game.
So Coach Trillo allowed me in the locker room before the game, as did Coach McFall, just to hear the Herb Brooks talk.
Yeah, love it.
And that's one of the things Coach T stressed to his guys in the locker room was, you guys got it. We got to score the dirty goals. We got to get the ugly ones. And it sounds that's like exactly what they did.
In that Seattle game, they outshot the Lakers 58-17. They had 20 shots in that first period. That's what Coach Phil told me as well. that they just had to get those opportunities in front. And you said, and it was different guys, balanced scoring in hockey, right? Like that's what you want from those three lines. Jack Stanfield had the big goal to kind of ice it late in the game, and the Flames, they've been just churning out those goals, and when they can get one goal in, it's just a big avalanche coming right afterwards.
What you guys had a chance to see him up close and personal. I haven't been able to see this kid play a lot yet. I saw maybe a couple of shifts, but Noah Nerebsky for Hamburg, the kid who came back from the Junior Sabres.
Let's talk about this.
19. Did he stand out? Because he's having a pretty good year so far. He's got 8 and 10, 18 on the season. What was your take on how he is assimilating back into that locker room and with that group? Is he raising the level of play of those around him?
I think he is. I think Coach McFall, he spoke highly of him as well. Noah, he was on the top line when they played Williamsville East. You said 8 goals, 18 points. He has that size. He's a commit to Albany for lacrosse next year. He brings that extra speed, and you say he's coming back from the Junior Sabres, just finding his way. But he's a nice piece if you're Coach McFall with the Bulldogs, having a lot of familiarity coming back from last year too.
Well, here's what I was impressed with this kid. Okay, not afraid to throw the body and be physical, and such an important component of our game. I've talked about it on the broadcast quite a bit. I was really impressed. I would say in all the teams we've seen, Joe, and we've seen more than half the teams now. That Hamburg team was the most physical. This kid
the more physical of East in the season.
Yes, most physical in the season.
Wow.
And Nerebsky, he was not afraid to throw the body and to be physical. And to me, that was the great equalizer for much of the game. Except as we said, minute 16 to 17.
He assisted on
I liked him. He had a nice shot. Big boy, willing to throw his body, move the puck well. Would take it wide, was willing to get in the dirty areas. There's a lot of great things about that kid. Another kind of junior Sabre. I'm gonna come back and play for my high school in my senior year and play in front of my friends, which from the high school standpoint, you got to remember that's my world. No offense to the Junior Sabres. I love that. Who else did we see? We're talking about that with a kid from North, right? Is that it? Was it? Yeah, Williamsville North.
Okay. Interesting about East, though, they scored 5 on Hamburg in that game. They had 5 different goal scorers.
I remember David Barzak from Canisius.
Barzak.
Yep.
There it is. The encyclopedia.
That's why
He's got it.
The big
he was looking for the page. But another one, right? And I'm going to tell you,
he's a player.
Canisius has impressed me as well. They can shoot the puck. They've got bigger kids. They also can throw the body around. Wouldn't that be a fun game? Man, I hate to be a scheduling coordinator and tell you who you should schedule, but Hamburg Canisius would be a fun one.
So the interesting takeaway from that game to me was Will East, as I just said a moment ago, they had 5 different goal scorers. Hamburg, one guy put all 3 goals in for them that game. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, just really just the balance of the two teams, right? With Cole Reese with all 3 goals for Hamburg, a veteran player for the Bulldogs, and then you have Williams-Ville with all those different goal scorers, all on different lines, and just really just pick your poison if you're a defense facing Williams-Ville. Which top line are you going to try to stop? But Shane Wood was another big player to me from Hamburg. He's the only 4-year player for the Bulldogs on the blue line. He had another big game, but that was a really fun game. Williams-Ville, 5-3-1 on the year, getting past Hamburg. That was a really fun game to call.
I thought Reese was exceptional. Showed a lot of patience. Beat Sexton twice on just holding the puck, kind of waiting for the goalie to go down. But it was his 3rd goal. Man, it wasn't on his stick for a second. Bar down and in. Yep. Those are, we talk about the dirty ones. We love to watch the pretty ones, and that one was pretty.
There are some pretty good games going on right now. It looks like
I got an update.
You got an update. What
Well,
update
I was interesting what you were going to share. All-star music teacher from Smallwood, Julie Furlong. Her sons are practicing on the other side of Leisure. Just reached out to me.
Okay.
Is listening live and said end of 1 OP2 Lancaster nothing. You got something even more than that?
Well, I've got that score. Yeah, 2-0. We've got Ken West leading Newport 4-1, and Will North's up 6-0 on Amherst.
That's no surprise. I would listen. We were impressed with Amherst. We really were. Cants.
Yes, part of that KFC line, the top line.
The KFC.
For Amherst. Yeah.
I haven't had my dinner yet. Not that I'm going there. Well, if they sponsor us, I will.
Right.
Right?
And that's part of the year one. Amherst with a new coach coming over from the Lancaster program. They're getting on the right track for the Tigers, but
that's a mismatch.
Right.
That's going to be a tough one for Amherst. Shout out to the North Faithful though. PGA Hope game. Saw that on their social media today, raising money.
Is that going on right now?
Right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, PGA Hope.
Okay.
Believe connects to veterans through the golf, and we know the Rosens, both Jake and Bob, avid golfers. So I'm sure they have some sort of hand in that. But that one was probably predictable, if at least from past years, that North would handle Amherst. But I think Amherst is up and coming. I was impressed with them, and certainly the Cants kid caught my eye.
Some of the other games this past weekend, the one that stood out was Niagara Wheatfield handing Starpoint their first loss of the year. That was Saturday. Tony Fiorello was at that game. Did a nice recap. I think it was a 4-0 final, maybe 4-1. And
what do you think about that, Joe? I mean, my opinion, that's a little surprising to me. Starpoint, I've heard a lot of great things. As we heard in the first segment, Joe's picking basketball tomorrow or Thursday over hockey. But I got Starpoint. Really looking forward to seeing.
He threw you under the bus there.
I don't know.
Quickly.
I don't know this partnership. I'm not sure what's going on. We're gonna have to make up after the show. But when we saw Niagara Wheatfield against Joe's, okay, Coach Cristiano's first win, I thought it must have been a flat night for Niagara Wheatfield. They didn't have much juice in the tank, Joe. So if you would have asked me going into it, I definitely would have thought Starpoint would have had the opportunity. By the way, that's a nice rivalry too now.
Oh yeah,
right. Your neck of the woods, Joe.
Yeah,
a Starpoint Niagara Wheatfield. That's a nice rivalry.
Yeah, Starpoint, they've been on top the past few years, and Niagara Wheatfield's always in the mix for those big sectional runs. And in that Wheatfield St. Joe's game, just to go back, Adam Perry, he wasn't in the lineup. The Falcons lost a number of players due to injury at that point. The Falcons are also really young. They lost a lot of big guys like Rob Wegrid from last year, the top scorer on the blue line. And that's really a really interesting key. A big win for the Falcons moving forward. But the question for me is, how does Starpoint bounce back? Starpoint rattles off 6 wins in their first 7 games. You know that Clayton Wilson's going to have the Starpoint Spartans ready to go. But how do they bounce back against the Williamsville East Flames team that we just said a moment ago can keep on scoring?
Yeah, it's a tough bounce back game. It's definitely, I don't know what my friends at home are doing on Thursday night. Make your way to Northtown. That's going to be a really good game. It's very impressed. Have enjoyed calling the Willies games. And Starpoint, now they're coming off a loss to a rival. They're going to be real hungry. That's going to be a great high school hockey game. I'm glad we're covering it.
How did Niagara Wheatfield respond to that win over Starpoint? They were shut out 3-0 the next night to Grand Island.
And Grand Island isn't a team to sleep on either.
No, not at all. But, it would have been nice to see if Niagara Wheatfield could have kept that momentum going throughout the weekend. Unfortunately, they ran out of gas in the goal-scoring department. Chris Swain, 25 saves in the shutout for the Vikings. Grand Island tonight, next Monday, they're taking on West Seneca West. Timmy, you're going to be out at Riverworks. So that's when Grand Island faces off again. West Seneca West next Monday, 10 a.m., and then Thursday, Ken East at Brighton. Now, that Grand Island Ken East game, we might have to put that on our calendar. If we can get any kind of Ethernet or a good Wi-Fi signal, Timmy, we may have to move that Thursday night from Northtown over to Brighton. What a facility that is if you haven't checked it out yet.
I heard Shannon Greco took care of us.
Oh, we're hoping.
I
We're
heard
hoping.
we're getting a whole line just for West New York. That's what I heard.
We put a bug in his ear.
Confirm that. But
We put the golf coach, right?
yeah,
And now he works for the town. Yeah, so we
for the town.
we
and
put a bug in his ear. I don't know.
special password. Well, I understand they don't want necessarily their employees on YouTube, so they had some sort of filter.
No.
But for us guys, listen, I know people.
We had to call in a favor to Rich over here.
And, well, I coached their son Travis. He was
Oh.
a great hockey player, and I playing baseball.
Good baseball
The
player
IC,
too.
yeah.
I think he came through for them last year against Canisius in that big comeback. I think he came through with the
First
hit.
baseman, yep.
Yeah.
He was part of that the big Georgetown Cup win.
Hamburg at Amherst on Wednesday, 8:30 Northtown. I might have to check that out, especially if Michaela's in net. That might be a game I have to get out and see. Leading the ECIC 1, it's OP, as we've talked about. ECIC 2, Star Point, Monsignor Martin, Canisius, NFL, Grand Island. Maybe we'll get a little bit more into that. But I want to talk about these games that Rich and Stu are doing on Thursday. Joe, do you got something on that? Why don't we talk about that first game?
Yeah, Clarence.
6:15.
Yeah, Clarence and Orchard Park. That should be a really good contest to start off the doubleheader. Clarence 6-2, 1-1 on the season. The Red Devils lost to Will North in the Division I semifinal last season. They bring back a lot of returnees, averaging 4.6 goals per game. Keep an eye on Jeremy Dorigo, the junior forward, team high, 13 goals, 17 points, 5 goals on shorthanded opportunities. And he's got a couple of nice teammates in Logan Shelton with 8 goals and Mave Strahemikov with 6 goals right behind him. And they're running a junior goaltender, Carson Oates. He started all 10 games for Clarence. He had a big night in a win against Grand Island a couple weeks ago, 44 saves on 45 shots. So that's Clarence. And then Orchard Park, as we kind of touched on, taking on their rival Lancaster right now, but really impressed with what Tyler Bouchai has done so far with 6 goals and 10 points. And they have a freshman goaltender in Matthew Swartzot. He's appeared in all 6 games so far, allowing just over 2 goals per game. But Clarence, Orchard Park, it's another traditional rivalry. We know about the longtime football rivalry too. But this should be a really good, interesting to see is which team comes out to score and which goalkeeper provides the stoppages needed.
And you got the Twins there.
Yes.
That are atop the leaderboard. Orchard Park, interesting. 4 guys have 5 or more goals through the season already. That's a lot of goals.
Yeah, that's not surprising. First, I'll just start with Clarence. Clarence was one of those opponents I didn't want anything to do with. Okay? Rick Brooks just runs, and it's like up and coming. They just keep getting better and better. There was a time back in the day where, Clarence, they were, the JVs to Williamsville, right? You had your Williamsville program. Things have shifted. And he's done a great job with that program. They always have good goaltending. Rick's son was a goaltender. Brooksy. I actually coached him in Trout. Great. But they are just like one of those opponents that are tough. And I bet you, I'm telling you right now, Josh Daniker, Steve Ferrantino from OP, they don't want this game. This is going to be a great game. Clarence is going to give OP, looks like they're up on Lancaster, so they're going to be going in at the last team standing. Remember, I've been in this position, gentlemen. You're undefeated, right? You just you start to feel this pressure.
Yeah.
And then every time you play, right? I've been in OP before at St. Joe's. Every time you are playing, now it's Clarence Super Bowl. It's Lancaster Super Bowl, right? You just want to, they're undefeated. We want to be the team to knock them off. And I'm going to tell you, Clarence won't be intimidated. They will come out there. And it should be a real, real good game. Interesting, too, that they're riding this freshman goalie. Wonder if this might get to be a story at some point. Of course, OP, you think about also Joe Marszlak, okay? These are household high school coaches' names with Daniker, Ferrantino, Marszlak, okay? All very offensive-minded coaches. Okay, even their D, you watch their D up in the play. So Clarence, they might look for something to take advantage of. Man, Thursday night. Wow.
Carrying 4 goaltenders. in
Yeah.
Orchard Park. 2 sophomores, a junior, and then the freshman.
And Joe, I heard you, right? The freshman's played every game.
He's played every game, and it's interesting because last year when the Quakers went all the way to the state championship, Braden Hearn was the main guy for the Quakers, so they're still figuring it out. But yeah, so far Matthews had the hot hand, and that's what it comes down to, right? In hockey, who's going to have the hot night? You put him in once, and it keeps rolling from there.
Listen, I got to be careful, okay? It's a family show, and don't want to get anyone upset. Good for them. Good for them. I'm just saying, I don't know that that's something I would have done. If I have 4 goalies on my roster, I'm just going to ride the one goalie. I mean, obviously they know what they're doing. They're undefeated, but and I was impressed. We saw them against Lancaster. I mentioned it many times on the broadcast. The kid wasn't playing like a freshman. But again, Orchard Park relies on offense.
They're getting it.
They are.
They're getting it.
They are. But if anybody gets snake bit, okay, and now you got to rely on the defense and the goalie. Again, I'm not Rick Brooks. I'm not running practice tomorrow. Rick, I am available if you want to call me. But that might be the secret. Let's attack the D and attack this goalie. What a lineup. Yeah, I'm glad. This might be our bat. We've had some great games.
I don't know. That second game, though, I'm drawn to it. The Star Point and Will East.
Yeah.
Right? Is that the second game?
Yep, that is.
Okay, so, I mean, where do you start? You got 2 ECIC2 teams going at it, small schools, if you will, D2. But you got the first place and the third place team, respectively, on ECIC2. 2 coaches well known going to battle here. You're going to have 100 shots in this game. You might have 100 shots in this game.
Yeah, and that's really the lot of tradition between the two programs, Star Point, Williamsville East. I know we talked a lot about the Williamsville East guys, but one guy to keep an eye on who's really stepped up for the Spartans so far is Sam Prezioso. He's a junior. He's a forward. He was on, I believe, their second line last year. This year he's really stepped it up, leads the team with 8 goals and 13 points. They have a freshman, too, Carter Butcher, with a team-high 7 assists. And these are the types of games, just getting the chance to talk with Clayton Wilson over the last couple of years, like these are the type of games when you get into this point of season 2, when you get into the crunch time of January, like this is the crunch time of the season. This is a game that it could come down to the final seconds of which team gets the last opportunity to score. And Star Point's, again, very hungry. They lost in the semis last year to Kenmore East. They're trying to get back to that sectional title. But Williamsville East, they have the scores, like we've said too.
Well, it's the time of year. We talked about it, Joe. We're done with the feeling out process. We're done trying to figure it out, right? At this point, every team's played close to, if not 10 games. You're flexing your muscles. You know what you have, and you're going with your strength. So, results at this point in the season mean a ton, and they certainly, in my opinion, will be reflective of what should be. And we heard both coaches talk about this the other day, and I was loving it. There is parity in this league, and it's going to come down to whoever's playing their best hockey at the end of the season. But this is when you flex your muscles, right? What do we know about Williamsville East? We know for sure, okay, that they're going to be firing pucks from anywhere, getting pucks to the net, looking to get guys into that dirty area to score goals. We know that Star Point is going to be a well-coached team. Looks like they're spreading their offense out. Tough assignment for Coach Torillo to match lines when you've really got multiple lines contributing, multiple guys from different classes, freshmen, sophomores stepping up. That's what wins championships, gentlemen. People think, oh, you need your senior class. Nope, you need balance, and you need balance from classes. Young guys sometimes play just as well as seniors because they don't even know any better. Seniors are often carrying that heavy weight on their back.
I hear that a lot.
Right?
I hear that a lot.
Seniors are like nostalgic. Oh, my gosh, this is my last rivalry game. Oh, my gosh, I got to go to the dance on Saturday night. Oh, my gosh, I got to, fill out college application. There's a lot of pressure on the senior athlete. I loved a junior and sophomore. I did. So let's see. Can't wait. Thursday night.
Yeah, Star
I know where I'll
Point
be.
still has that stain of Saturday, losing that first game to Niagara
right.
Wheatfield. So they'll be carrying that weight around, and I'm sure Clay is running them ragged through practice the last few days. So you know Clay's style of
Right.
coaching. So those kids they've been told, and I'm sure they're sick of hearing about the Niagara Wheatfield game at this point, and they're ready for Will East. That should be one heck of a game. Tim, you'll be producing that one.
He's vocal. He's active. That's my type of coach.
Why don't we take another quick break? We're going to come back. We'll talk about some of those leaders, and we'll get some thoughts on Joe and Rich on where the season's heading. You're watching Western New York High School Hockey Weekly here on Western New York Athletics.
Need an electrician? Empire Electric is your residential wiring specialist. New builds, service upgrades, lighting, generators, you name it, Empire does it with hundreds of 5-star reviews that speak for themselves. Call Empire Electric today for your free estimate.
Education has power. Binghamton University students discover it, apply it, unleash it. Unleash your education today.
Welcome back to Western New York High School Weekly, High School Hockey Weekly. Joe Kraus, Rich Crozier, and Frank Wolf here. Talking Fed hockey, girls and boys. We touched a little bit on girls earlier, and now we're knee-deep into the boys. Talked about the games you guys did, the game you did last week, and, of course, the games that Rich and Stu are going to call on Thursday. Joe is going to be doing, what is it, badminton again somewhere? What are you calling?
We got girls basketball, Cardinal O'Hara, St. Mary's, 6:30.
That is.
It'll be a good game.
That's going to be a dandy. Any milestones being reached that day, or just two heavyweights from the Monsignor?
Just two heavyweights, and the Lancers are looking for their first win against the Lady Hawks in 5 years, which was also in Tonawanda. So 6:30 start should be a lot of fun.
Shejiki days.
Yeah.
Chesky.
Yes.
Chesky days.
Yep.
Yeah. Very
That's
good.
at O'Hara?
Yep.
Oh, great.
Maybe we'll get another screen at Northtown. We'll have to see if Timmy can pipe that game in so we can kind of, maybe a picture in picture. Timmy can't wait. Anyways, if we're talking stats, Joe, if you look at the top, it's dominated by Niagara Wheatfield players. Not indicative that, because if you go down, Star Point doesn't have a guy in the top 10, but they're getting that balanced scoring. What's your take on the guys who are at the top of that scoring list?
Well, I think for me, to start off, it's Nathan Dunn for Niagara Wheatfield. We mentioned this is a young Falcons team, but for Rick Rosen, he's relied on Nathan Dunn. Leads the section in goals with 14 goals. Also leads the section with 24 points. He's really off to a hot start. 5 game-time goals as well for Nathan Dunn. And then right behind him, Ian Hannon from Grand Island. We saw him the other night against Kenmore West. 8 goals, 15 assists, 23 points. And then rounding out the top 3 in points, Frank, we got Nick LaBella from West Seneca West with 22 points. Tied for second in the section in scoring with 13. And even a different category on the power play goals, it's Eli North of Kenmore East leading the section with 4 on the power play. So we're seeing the scoring as well. We talked about the goaltending a little bit. Nick Prezioso from Star Point, a 2.21 goals against average through 7 games. Jacob Sexton, 2.31 for Williamsville East. And then Matteo Mancini, who I think has been the top goaltender that we've seen in all the games. And we've seen Sexton a lot. We've seen Chris Swain the other night for Grand Island. But Matteo Mancini, a 2.63 goals against average, 8 appearances for Coach Cristiano, this young St. Joe's program, off to a really good start. But you said Niagara Wheatfield, Grand Island, the programs that we've seen in the past, they're up there again in the scoring categories, in the goaltending.
How about a shout-out to that Lockport Niagara Falls team? Got into a shootout with my alma mater, Kenmore West, the other day. They beat Ken West 7-6. They scored a goal with almost no time left. I know there's some controversy there. I heard the coaches at Ken West weren't too happy. I don't know exactly what happened or if a whistle was called or the clock wasn't right. There's an issue there. But either way, Niagara Falls, Lockport comes away with their second win of the year, and they haven't really beaten a good team in a while, Joe. That program has been, at the bottom, begging for a win, like Newport, but to get a win over Kenmore West, a sectional favorite year in, year out, that's a huge win for that program. Any way you slice it.
Definitely a big win for Lockport. Niagara Falls. They're in Division One this year, only one of 4 teams in Division One. And you said for 2 schools trying to build up their hockey programs. Once again, they were pretty good combined a few years ago. But to have the big win against Kenmore West and Coach Rozak, that's a pretty good win when you're trying to build in the right direction again.
No kidding.
Program could be a program changer.
Yeah.
It could have monumental effects long term. I still like Star Point out of that ECIC 2 in the small, and why wouldn't you? But Will East and Ken East, I haven't seen Ken East just yet. I know they have a goaltender that's headed to college to play collegiately over at Kenmore East, so we'll have to check them out. Timmy mentioned during the break that they're actually at Riverworks Monday playing Star Point, so what a game right there. What time is that puck drop, Tim, on that? Do you know? He's got 2 late games, so he also has Niagara Wheatfield versus versus Will East. So there's 2 dandies right there out of Riverworks. You got a scarf? It's gonna be cold. Put a scarf on that camera. Yeah. So those will be some chilly games, and then Monday you're probably at Hilbert on Monday. Are you doing basketball?
That's right. We got
you're trading in hockey for the basketball.
Well, he's just multi-talented.
That's what it is.
Frank, we gotta just.
He did wrestling a month ago.
Yeah, that's right. We did wrestling at Williamsville North. And then, yes, we'll be at the Coaches versus Cancer Showcase Monday at Hilbert. We got 5 games. Stu Boyer's going to do the 2 girls' games. Then I'll have Niagara Falls, Williamsville East, and then Canisius, Wolf South. And then our center court game of the week to wrap it up. Should be a great showcase on hand.
So you've done hockey, boys and girls. You've done basketball, boys and girls. Wrestling, volleyball, soccer, lacrosse, baseball. Have you ever done rifle?
Not yet.
All right. Well, Tim, is that a sport we could stream? Golf. I don't know. Does Amherst have a rifle program?
No, I don't believe they do.
I don't think they do either. I don't know if
we have a rifle range.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's under our auditorium, but right now used for storage.
I don't want to walk through there or by there, but we'll have to. You're multi-talented, Joe, and that's why we love having you.
Thank you.
Rich wants to call other sports. He's waiting for you.
I'm waiting for the call.
Patiently too.
Well, you know, I coach golf at Joe's. Love that. I tell you, shout out to the golf program.
What was it? What happened last year? I passed you guys on the 90. You guys were flying home from somewhere down south.
No.
I think you were late.
Nope. No.
Yes.
If we were on the St. Joe's bus, that's we were going 55. Okay.
Well,
those buses don't go over 55.
When I say
where were we coming?
You were
from?
coming from somewhere because I was heading down south.
Pinehurst.
You were in Pinehurst. Yeah.
We've been to Pinehurst last 2 years.
Was there a delay coming home though?
Amazing.
A challenge.
So last year I flew home. I had to get back because of a commitment with work. So I went down. Did not come back with the boys.
Okay.
This year, went down there. It was amazing. Played Pinehurst #2. Shout out to Coach Cam Rosen. Runs a great program. Uncle Jim.
Well, who was driving that bus home at 55 miles an hour?
It might have been Shannon Greco.
Wasn't Dean?
It wasn't Dino. Dino. You know what? That is.
Dean doesn't go over 40.
Everybody would love to get a part of that, but it's limited numbers. In fact, we can't bring the whole team. We bring our seniors. But yeah, if we got some avid golfers in the audience tonight, high school age,
hockey players
might want to consider St. Joe's.
Hockey players make great golfers.
You ever been to Pinehurst, guys?
No.
Oh.
No. How many courses do they have? There's 7?
No.
More than that?
11.
11. Wow.
On the resort, and then within the town, it's most golf courses per capita in the world.
Insane.
Yeah, it's great.
How many ice rinks?
We played #10. I don't know. I haven't visited an ice rink in Pinehurst.
More golf courses than ice rinks.
Yeah,
pads,
that
for
is
sure.
For sure.
Best barn to play in Western New York, and then would you admit to what the worst barn is? Would you want to? We'll go off the record with that.
York?
Places you don't want to play, just because
I really like Harbor Center.
Yeah.
I really do. Had some success there too.
You won a game there or two.
Yeah. Have some fond memories. I wouldn't say worst barn. I'll just say like a rink I didn't like to play in, and this is gonna be interesting that I'm about to say this. I didn't enjoy playing in Key Bank.
Okay.
I found it difficult. Two things. One is it's such a big game. So if you're playing in Key Bank, friends at home that aren't aware of this, you've made the section championship. Very fortunate. Buffalo Sabres treat you like gold.
Oh.
I mean, just unbelievable experience. I was very fortunate 8 times in my career to play down there. But they put the fans behind you. So you don't see anything but empty seats. You hear, and we've had great crowds. The other thing is so you're coaching to empty seats. It just feels so unnatural. The dasher, again, not trying to suggest that people aren't educated around hockey. It's just been my world for so long. The dasher is the part on the boards. It's the bottom part where it's either yellow or blue. I don't know what they do in NHL rinks. I'm assuming I've never coached in another NHL rink. The dasher is so lively. You miss the net. Remember, I said I had 8 championship games down there. The puck would come off that dasher so quick. By the time I got to championship 3 or 4, I was able to talk to my defense and talk to my goalie. I can't tell you the number of times my team scored a huge goal off the dasher. It is so lively. It's like no other rink in Western New York. So, again, this has nothing to do with the treatment or the quality of the game or the importance of the game. It just wasn't my favorite rink to coach in.
Other rinks, I know like in basketball,
Yeah.
inside a gym, you can hear the fans constantly. Can you hear the fans at a hockey rink?
Yeah, so
Chirping at you?
the toughest rink to coach in, what you're talking about, Frank,
Yep.
Cass Park.
Okay.
Timon boys, they are, Philadelphia Eagle fans, okay? They are not kind. You are going into
The Hornets'
enemy territory. And the way that rink is set up, they're over top of you as you're walking in and out. Things are coming down on you. I'm telling my guys, just don't look up. Go right out. They have those big, big speakers pumping, and then you come out. I remember just recently, last couple years, we played them, and they got the music going, and I'm like, wow, this is great. They are packed. Close game. Our boys from St. Joe's, we had a basketball game. They must all jumped in their cars. They come in. They're wearing the basketball jerseys, and we go third period, thump them. I'm like, wow. I'm bringing the basketball guys into our locker room with us because I'm like, it's dangerous out there. We're walking out together. Nobody goes out alone. Team up. Okay? Shout out. Hey, listen, my time and friends, I'm neutral now. I'm working for West New York Athletics. You guys love to cheer on your teams. I'm just saying that is not a rink where I would walk to my car alone in the parking lot. And that's, I guess, a compliment. I think that's a compliment.
Yep.
Speaking of Bishop Timon, they're going to have their hockey fights canceled tonight, Timon Tigers, Thursday at Harbor Center, 7 p.m. against North Rockside. They're going to have special jerseys, names on the back, both teams participating, names to honor family, friends, alumni.
Who they playing?
Affiliate North Rockside at 7 p.m. Thursday.
Rockside.
And it'll be also after the first goal, a teddy bear toss. Mike Cassidy told us a couple months ago that this was going to be happening Thursday at Harbor Center. So big awareness. Yep.
Yeah, great. Well, good for
So-
Timon.
Mark this on your calendar. If we're around, well, we are around, but I think we're going to be, well, you might be busy on February 8th, Saturday. But I'm showing St. Joe's at Timon February 8th, 6:30
Have we ever done a
PM.
game at Timon?
No.
Oh, we need
Is it
to.
possible to do one at
We need
Cass?
to. And by the way, they just played 3-2.
Yeah. Timon get the better
Looked
one.
like Timon scored a late one. We saw that Joe's Canisius game. I'm telling you, don't sleep on Joe's. Do not sleep on Joe's. A lot of young kids, sophomores. They're up and coming, and they're going to be a dangerous opponent. Canisius found that out. Canisius took care of business.
Coach did some line juggling last time I saw them. He brought some forwards. He brought some defensemen up to play forward and sent a few forwards down at St. Joe's.
When you saw the St. Mary's game?
Yeah.
Yep. That was 7-0 Joe's.
Yep.
That's good. That's a good game.
February 8th, 6:15 at Kaz. It's Joe's and Timon, and we're going to have to do some work.
That is phenomenal at Kaz Park, so that would be.
All right.
I know they just.
We're going to give it a shot.
We've had a lot of renovations there recently.
Timothy Burvid Ice Rink.
Yeah. Okay. And then, Frank, you can show us a spot or two after.
Oh, easily. Absolutely. Yeah. Place for pizza in South Buffalo, though, Timmy. I know where you like to go.
Yeah, I like
a lot
Imperial.
of people like Imperial. I'm telling you right now, it's Minneo's South. You know Minneo's?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Okay. That's the place to go.
Never had a slice
South
from
Buffalo.
there ever.
We're going to go visit Mr. Franco at Minneo's.
Minneo's South?
February 8th. Mark it
Okay.
down. It's a 6:15 game. Why not? You're busy. February 8th? We'll be back in time. Turning Stone. No. February. Oh. Shit. Oh.
You can swear on here?
Did I swear?
I think you
I might have did. Let the essay.
Man.
I
thought this was
we're going to get that game.
family show.
Sugar.
My principal hat's coming out in a second.
Do you have a ruler?
No, that's not.
I was at Cardinal O'Hara. I had a teacher whack me with the ruler my freshman year a couple times. Not for swearing either.
Definitely dating yourself.
I know.
We lead with kindness and we repair relationships now. We don't.
Sister Marie.
Yeah.
Sister Anne Marie. Yeah.
Those days
Right.
are over.
Timmy's telling us to get lost. But let me get your final thoughts, Joe, on how the job Rich has done so far. Where would you grade him?
I think he's doing great. I think A- so far.
Okay.
I think if we're doing grading,
Yeah.
But no, I think we hit it right off the bat. So far I've heard nothing but good words. I think we hit it off that first tournament at Cornerstone. We've done eight games together. I know you've done like a couple more with other guys, but yeah, Rich's his insight about the game, like hearing from people saying, man, like he really breaks down the game and explains it. And yeah, you're doing a great job, man.
Well, I
We're
appreciate
fortunate
that.
to have you here.
I appreciate that. I've been enjoying. Well, listen, a couple times the guy throws he throws his back on track. You and I, Frank, we're kind of made from the same cloth. That's why I know where the minus is. I know what I need to work on, Joe. I appreciate that.
He needs to call.
That growth mindset.
He's missing that bench clearing brawl.
Listen,
You might see one on February 8th.
we don't encourage that.
No, not
high
at all.
school gentlemen at home. In fact, I've mentioned on the air, like we got to walk away.
We've had one.
It's better.
We've had 3 of them.
Yeah, well,
that
we're
I
not
can remember.
encouraging any of those choices.
No.
Okay, well, I'm gonna share. I'm gonna grade you then, my friend. A+.
Wow.
A+. This guy.
Nothing to improve on.
All I'm doing is talking about something that's been my whole life.
Joe's prep is on par
That's
with.
what we need.
with the good ones.
I'll just talk and Joe preps and
Is he?
softballs.
So is he like
Plus.
Bucci Gross or who calls the NHL games these days on the national?
Kenny Albert still does
Kenny
it.
Albert
NBC.
still?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think you're in Dan Dunleavy's class.
Yeah.
Got a little ways to go to get to RJ. But Dan Dunleavy, I think you
I'm
can
just
place
trying
tomorrow.
to keep up with Razor. If I'm Rob Ray, I'm fine.
We could put him in between the benches.
That's true.
When we get to KeyBank Center. Now that's, we haven't really said too much since the show started the last 2 weeks, but our good friend Andrew Miller, poor Andrew, who we love and miss, and you can't replace that guy.
I know we're wrapping it up. I would love if we would, and we need to. I'm going to encourage us. We could do a whole segment,
Yeah.
and I could share a lot because Andrew got to start with me. I remember who is this guy? Andrew. And then it just took off for him.
He got some of the best photos of you
Miss
and
him.
your son.
But we were really the originators of All Access. Okay, now I see it, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
it's the trend.
He closed the door on going into the locker room way on me one time. He goes, "You're not allowed in here yet."
Oh, really?
And then he opened it up and said, "Kidding."
Shout out to these high school kids that are, doing these They do a great job. I enjoy watching what they're doing, but the originator is Andrew Miller. You know, the kids loved the photos, and Andrew just got so many great shots, and I was like, well, why not? Why not? You wanna invite people to be a part of your community. But Andrew would, pray with us. He would ride the bus with us. He would eat with us. He was, and for those that don't know at home, St. Joe's alumnus. He's just a great St. Joe's guy and a huge loss to the Western New York athletic community, the Western New York high school community, and the St. Joe's community. I miss him very much.
Yep. And he's a St. Joe's Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So at the end of the year, we'll talk more about this maybe on the next episode, but we are planning on honoring some players with some awards, Player of the Year, that sort of thing, and we will have an award for Andrew.
We definitely need that.
So that'll be coming up, and maybe we'll dive into that next show. Tim's got to get running here. He's already given me the hook. We were supposed to be done by 7:30. We got a free half hour of hockey talk in Western New York, so congratulate yourselves. Give yourselves a pat on the back. We got some more hockey coming up this week. Watch for it on NFHS, WNY+, wherever you find your hockey fix. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Tim, you going to let us back in the building? Yeah. Tuesday. See you.
Tuesday night.
We might bring this on the road somewhere. If you're a restaurant and you got good wings and maybe a frosty beverage for us after, we will be happy to do the show there, yeah.
People will come to us.
Absolutely.
I would love that.
I think we can get it. I think we can figure a place out or two. But thank you very much for joining us. Have a good week, everybody. Thank you for watching Western New York High School Hockey Weekly. Season banquet for hockey, boys and girls. If I can get 3 or 4